What is up, YouTube? My name is Danger Dane, and this is my very first story time. Now, today I kind of want to tell you guys about the worst friend in the history of friends. But before I tell you guys the story, why don't you go ahead and smash that like button and that subscribe button, because if you don't, no joke, no scam, a rhinoceros will burst down your door and force you to play Fortnite for all of eternity. Hey man, I don't make the rules, I just follow them. But with that being said, let's get into the story time. So, I think this was about a year ago when this happened, but I'm gonna give you guys a little backstory first. So, me and the boys, like, we have a group chat. Who doesn't? What group of boys do not have a group chat? So, ours is on Messenger, Facebook Messenger. And so, it was originally, it started out with me and two other people. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be calling them Harry and Ron. Those are not their real names, but I just want to call them. And so it started out with the three of us. But we would kind of hang out with a couple of more people, but they weren't really the part of the group until 3, maybe 4 weeks after we formed the group chat. And so we're just like, hey guys, why don't we add you to the group chat? And so we do. And so the other two people, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be calling them Leroy and Voldemort. Again, not their real names, just what I'm going to call them. And so it was me, Harry, Ron, Leroy, and Voldemort. It was the 5 of us in total, and we were awesome friends. Over the course of a few months, we were texting back and forth on the group chat every day, at least an hour. And so in the course of a few months, we knew each other so well we could call each other's brothers. And so we were brothers to each other, we were. And so now pay attention to Voldemort in this video, because he's gonna be a big asset. He's gonna be a big part of it. And so for about a year, maybe a year and a half, it's just the 5 of us. We're texting back and forth, like I just said, and obviously we were brothers, just said that. So one day, while I'm at work, I start to get texts from the group chat, and it's Harry and Ron saying to the group chat that they're adding a new member to the group, and I'm gonna call him Jason. And keep in mind, we only add in people that we can call family. And now it's 6 people. Me, Harry, Ron, Leroy, Jason, and Voldemort. It's all of us. 6 of us. And so again, and we all went to the same high school. That's how we all met each other. And Jason, we know him. We all know him. And so pretty much Harry and Ron are saying hey guys, just so you know, we've been getting to know him. So we're going to add him in. And so they did. And I text something along the lines of, great to have you in the chat. It's about time, but unfortunately I'm at work right now, so I won't be able to text for a few hours, until I get off work. And they say that's fine, and I go about my day, and I also put my phone on mute, so my phone won't be blowing up. But when I get off work, and I look at the texts on the group, all hell has been broken loose, and Voldemort was no longer in the chat. And so, here is pretty much what happened. As soon as I muted my phone, Voldemort puts in there that he doesn't think Jason should be in the chat because he feels like he hasn't earned it. That he hasn't really spent enough time with us, and he just hasn't earned it. And I think it's easier if I just read you guys the text. And so it starts out with we got a new recruit coming on, and so they put him, and we're like, okay, yeah, welcome, man. And he's just wait, I thought we didn't accept new recruits. And Harry says, well, now we do. And Voldemort goes, you can't just change the rules whenever you want. And he's like, well, yeah, we can. It started with me, Dane, and Harry. It started with us. And Voldemort goes, you think so? You think you started this? But it was really me. I started this whole thing with Dane. No, you kind of didn't. And so it was kind of going on between that. It just started with yo, no, you didn't start this, I started this, and so I get to make the rules because of that. That's kind of what it started with. And so for some reason, he says, I have no idea who Jason is. Why did you guys just pull this bullshit? This group was supposed to be just just the high school gang. Now you guys don't care. And then we say, well, dude, he was at our high school. He was there. He was part of this group. And he's like, yeah, well, I don't remember. Like, so really, the entire thing happened because Voldemort was just too ignorant. Keep in mind, this whole thing is happening at work. And then for some reason, Voldemort goes, Dane said y'all aren't shits like this. Like, well, I don't know if he's calling you a shit, or if I'm saying that I don't think you guys are like this. Because if he said that y'all are shits, then no, that's not what... I was at work, he couldn't really talk to me. I couldn't do anything, and then they say, well, he's met him before. He's met Jason. Yeah, I have met Jason. That's the thing. And it's like, Dane would preserve the honor of us being original members. Like, dude, like, it doesn't really make a big deal. And then Jason actually brings up a good point, saying, how many factions do you know that have all of its original members in it? And that's a pretty good point. Like, not a lot of people have their original members in them. And one of the guys, Ron, says, yeah, he's cool with it. And then Voldemort goes, you guys aren't even my homies anymore. Only Dane and Leroy are. And it's like, well, that's kind of stupid. Because, well, I didn't really know what was going on, but if I was, I would not be siding with him. I would not be siding with Voldemort. And then Harry and Ron just go, dude, you caused so much drama. Like, this doesn't even need to happen. And it's just pretty stupid at the time. And it's like, dude, you have just such a big ego. And he did. Voldemort did have a pretty big ego. And for some reason, Voldemort says, no, man, you're the one with the ego. And it's like, no, I was putting somebody else in the group chat because we see him as a brother. Like, how is that like that? Doesn't make any sense. And so pretty much it's just going back and forth between, like, yeah, you don't like new people, so therefore you're the one with the ego. It's like, you guys aren't my friends anymore. Like, it's a big thing. And then, out of freaking nowhere, Voldemort pretty much just pulls on, man, I want to fight you at your work. Like, he just straight up says that. It's a little stupid in a way because, well, he's at work. Why would you go over there and start to fight him? Doesn't make any sense. And so, but Harry just kind of like goes along with it and says, yeah, go for it. Like, my coworkers and my managers will kick you out. Like, it won't really be much of a threat. And so they kind of just like do that, like, back and forth for a little while. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Jason comes back in and he says, to be honest, I feel like straight up telling you to leave is being upfront. And so he says that Voldemort just says, yeah, well, I don't like talking, actions speak louder than words. And so he's like, well, that's kind of stupid. And Jason actually, like, he says this. He says, so you basically want them to physically fight you to get you to leave a group chat? You're that petty. Like, that's a pretty good roast. And then Voldemort, he just leaves and he goes, damn, I'm going to talk to Dane tomorrow. See ya. And so that happens. And then he does text me. And for the texts that he does, he like kind of starts texting me about it afterwards, like after the whole thing happens. And he's just talking smack on Harry, Ron, and Jason. Like he's talking smack on them. And I'm like, dude, you can't do this. You can't do that. It's hypocritical, it's ignorant, and it's stupid. Like, stop doing it. And then he goes on saying that he wants to fight me for some reason. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna fight you. Like, I'm not gonna do it. And I even say this in it, like, dude, I'm not gonna fight you. You're not worth my time. Just like you're not worth Harry's time. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna go prove you wrong. And so he actually physically goes over to Harry's work, like, which is only like a 20-minute walk away from his house, so it's really not that much. But when he does get there, he texts me saying, man, Harry isn't at work right now. And I'm like, yeah, he isn't, you dumbass. And so after that, he texts me, and I quote his pad is the target now. For those of you who don't know, when someone says his pad, they mean his house, where he lives, his family. That's what he means. So he says, yeah, his house is the target now. And I just kind of shrugged it off at the time because I'm like, dude, like, you're not going to do anything. His dad will kick your ass for trespassing. But however, you guys might be thinking, well, how is this the worst friend? Like, yeah, he's not the best friend. Starting fights out of the blue, getting kicked out of the group chat, it's pretty bad, but it's not the worst. However, here's where it kind of gets good. Here's where it gets juicy. So, like, the very next day, the very next morning, actually, before I even go to work, I think it was like an hour or two before I left, Harry texts me pictures of his car, and he goes, somebody keyed my car. And he did. In the hood of his car, there was the word gay keyed into the hood. And it was deep in there. There were deep scratches. And this is why I say he's the worst friend in the world. This guy was so ignorant, he couldn't accept a new person who we've already knew and already knew as brother to come into the group chat. And because he didn't like that, he wanted to start fights, and because he couldn't start a fight, he decided to commit a felony against this guy who was once his best friend and keyed the word gay into his car. So he texts me and he's like, dude, I need to get this washed out. Like, I need to get the scratches out. My mom's gonna kill me and things like that. And so I'm like, dude, like, just come pick me up after work. We can try to figure it out. We can go to Walmart, Target, like, we can buy some more action figures, because that's what we do. Like, we collect action figures. And so, like, we went over there, we went to Walmart, and we were just trying to have a good time, trying to get over it. And what do we know? We hear the voice, yo, Harry, like, coming from behind us. And we turn around, and what do you know? It's Voldemort. And so we still don't know if he followed us or if he was already there. He claims he was already there with his family, but I've seen his family before, and I did not see them at Walmart. I did not see them there. And so, like, he just comes up to us, and he's like fast-paced walking towards us. And so we're just walking away from him, going to the WWE section to just try to find some action figures, you know? And he's still coming after us. And it's like, yo, dude, are we gonna fight? And so when we get to the WWE section, we spend like a few seconds looking at stuff, and then Harry just turns to him and just pretty much goes, F you, I know you did this. And it's like, well, what are you talking about? It's like, I know you keyed my car, Voldemort. I know you keyed my car. It's like, well, I don't know, like, how would you know that? You weren't even there. That's what he said. Like, how would you know if I did that? You weren't even there. Like, okay, here's the thing. How would you know he wasn't there? It doesn't make any sense. And so he's just like trying to do this, like, dude, let's go outside. Let's fight right now. And Harry and I, we're just like, yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. You're not worth our time. And so we walk away, and we just leave it at that. We tried to get a restraining order against him, like, but it unfortunately didn't work out. Like, the court just passed it anyway, like, just passed over us, and it's like, yeah, no, we're not gonna do it. With that being said, this was the story of the worst friend in the world. The one that just because he couldn't get over his ego, he decided to key one of his best friend's car, and he got away with it, which is even worse. Now, I think that's about it for the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because again, if you don't, then a rhinoceros will come into your room and force you to play Fortnite for all eternity. This has been Danger Dane. Peace out.